Hi, I'm Amy and I'm in the So Simple Studios, home of amyquilts.com. And recently during one of my live Facebook videos for our Roses and Arrows quilt along, someone asked a question about adjusting tension when doing free motion. I thought you might find that segment interesting and useful, so I have put it here on YouTube. Enjoy. Now I've got my tension set on 1.4. Most machines, even mechanical ones, typically have a number range from 0 to 9. So that's basically 10 places with your 0. So 1 is very low on the low side. And I'm just going to start off and just do a few loops. This is how I would normally stitch, nice and smooth. But when you are new to free motion quilting, there is a tendency to whip your hands around in a curve. And that's where you're going to get those eyelashes. And I'm hopefully going to be able to do that for you. It's a little bit like riding a bike. Once you've done it and gotten the hang of it, it's hard to mess it up again. So let's see if I can. I'm also getting some really ugly stitches just because I'm trying to make it get those eyelashes. And I'm just going to do a couple of little straight lines here. And I'm just going to stop. And cut those threads. And let's take a look at what we've got. Bring the camera back a little bit so we can look down on these stitches and just flip this over. And someone was asking about how to bring up the bobbin thread. I'll show you that when I get started again, I think. So let me, oh yes, we've got eyelashes. So right here is a prime culprit, eyelashes. So eyelashes are formed when there's not enough tension on the top thread and it's getting pulled to the back. That's what's causing those little pulls of thread. So the actual eyelash part right here, that is top thread right there. My bobbin thread's coming along here. That's my top thread being pulled so far to the back that you're getting these little lines. And that's what we refer to as those eyelashes. So here's another one right here. So we've got that curve, and we've got those top threads getting pulled to that curve. That curve is your bobbin thread. That's our eyelashes. That's what we're referring to. But I want you to look in between these areas of eyelashes. There aren't eyelashes across these curves. In fact, the tension looks fairly good, but it's in these curves where I've been whipping them around that we're getting that. And of course, I have got my tension very loose, and so we're going to see that top thread getting pulled to the back. You can see right in here that top thread is just kind of pulled to the back just a little bit, and the bobbin thread is just sitting on the surface of the fabric. We no longer have any nice dipped in stitches like you might see on the top. So what we've got is a lack of tension on the top, and we've got unevenness with our hand speed that is a contributing factor. So when you're learning to do free motion, you don't want to overly tighten your top tension, or you're going to start seeing pops of thread here in those straightaways on the top side. You'll start seeing tension issues on the top side. So it's a twofold issue. We're going to increase the tension on the bottoms, on the top, sorry. We're going to increase the tension on the top. I'm going to 4.6 right now. And then we're going to make sure that we slow our hands down in those curves. So let's bring that in. Let's get the camera back down so you can actually see me stitch. And how do I bring up the bobbin thread? Well, first I'm going to put the foot down. Never drop your needle down when your foot's in the air, especially with a ruler foot, because you've got so much thickness. Now with the 9400, the 9450, the 15,000, which is what I'm using, the 15,000, it will not let you crash your needle clamp and your foot together, but that is not true with other machines. So you want to get in the habit of putting that foot down, and you just drop the needle down once and back up for one stitch. And of course I use my thread cutter, so it's very short. Let's see if we can get it up now. There we go. And you just pull on that top thread and it will pull the bobbin thread up. So foot back down, needle down. And I'm going to do a loop, just regular, and now I'm going to start trying to do it badly, just because that gives the tension the best test. Better get over here so we can tell the difference between our different areas. Whipping that hand speed around. All right, and let's go ahead and do a little bit of straight, just to get a little look at that. Cut that thread, and let's pivot that so we can get looking right down on those stitches. Flip it over and make sure I keep my stitching from before. That's the before. This is my after, separate, and you can see it's a lot better. Even in those curves where I started kind of whipping things around, the tension is looking much better. So that's about where I'd probably keep it on this machine. I might tighten it just a little bit more. Hard to see on the video. What you want to look for is, are those individual stitches going down in the holes? And they are. So that's good. If they're just laying flat, you might want to tighten the tension just a little bit more. So let's look a little closely at the top tension on the top side, I should say. So there's where we finished. I think this is probably a fairly horrible color combination to look at this closely. But we've got individual stitches going down into the holes. They've got nice depth. And that's what you're typically going to see, is that you're going to see that you need to tighten your top tension when you're free motion quilting. And again, if you're just seeing eyelashes, let's flip this back over on the back, in curves, then you really don't want to overly tighten your top tension, because then you're going to have it thrown off in the straighter areas. So I hope that answered your question, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.